everybody, and welcome back to the Rom-Com Love Podcast. I'm Catherine.
I'm Brennan.
And we are so thrilled and honored to have with us today Cara Russell, who is an executive producer and writer. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on your podcast today.
Absolutely. We love talking rom-coms. So our first one, we're going to start off because you just had a movie, Double Scoop, air on Hallmark, and it's currently available on Hallmark Plus. It starred Taylor Cole and Ryan McPartlin about ice cream and a small family farm in Wisconsin. So where did this story originate?
Actually, funny enough, from the Hatfields and McCoys. I was just always intrigued with the family fighting, which led to, they were farmers, or back in the day maybe. And then I was thinking feuding farmers, which led to, feuding ad execs over an account that farmers own. And it just kind of evolved into, then it was, well, what's a fun thing? And everyone loves ice cream. So that just seemed to be a bit more in the rom-com space. So it's, ideas start in crazy places and then they just keep evolving.
I'm going to say that was not, when we were talking possible suggestions, that wasn't anywhere on our radar. So we love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. We are in Minnesota and we're neighbors to Wisconsin, and we actually have our state fair going on right now. Catherine and I got to go yesterday and enjoy. So this movie just, I think, hits home for both of us, and perfect timing. Yes. Just with summer and yes, perfect.
I also grew up in Ohio, and so a lot of farmland and friends whose families own farms. And you just realize how important that is in America and how farmers do need help. So I kind of also wanted to put a little spotlight on that too again.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely. Yes, I love, I always love frequenting my local farmers markets, and because it is so important to support, and they work so hard, and, to have fresh homegrown food, right in your backyard that's amazing. Well, wonderful. So, Cara, how did you come up with the unique ice cream flavors in the story? We got to see some scenes where characters were tasting ice cream and commenting on all the fun, delicious flavors. So, where did those flavors come from? And have you experimented with ice cream flavors yourself?
I have not experimented myself, but I had fun Googling different types of ice cream flavors and then kind of mixing and matching and creating off of some of those ideas. So not quite borrowing, but using as a base, as a guideline, and then thinking, well, if I add this to that one, or what would that one taste like?
Yes, I would definitely buy that flavor.
That's what I was going to say. You could probably actually do a side gig and see if anybody's interested.
I think the peanut butter bomb would be the popular one. Peanut butter chocolate bomb, sorry.
Cara, one thing that Catherine and I talked about, another love story in the movie that we really loved and adored, was with the Darlingtons themselves. We just thought that their love story was so sweet and quite believable. So was their love story inspired by anyone in your life?
No, although my grandparents were together since they were children on my dad's side. And so just thinking of people who've been together their whole lives. But I also wanted these people who, salt of the earth, good people. They have the relationship that these sophisticated city people who are focused on their careers are missing in their lives. So I liked having that they're learning a lot from this couple, not just for their careers, but their personal lives as well.
Well, and speaking on that, and one of the things that we noticed is usually the women's and the leading ladies character, that they are the ones who go back to the big city and make that switch. And in this movie, it was the opposite. It was James. So what was it about you, your story in this way, that made it a perfect fit for it to be his journey to kind of do the discovery of himself?
Well, I like that because he was being molded by his boss, Everett, who the name comes from my nephew, actually. And so he had to make that choice of, if he continued on the path he was going, he was going to be just like this man who was divorced and focused only on money and monetary rewards and manipulated people with money, versus you had Nora, who was very creative, outside the box thinker, and yet she was so fearless in her career, but was always afraid to take that leap in her personal life. So they both had an arc. I think hers was a bit more subtle, but I like that they both had skills that the other one didn't quite have. So they made a good match with his analytical mind and her creativity.
Oh, 100% agree. And that was like why at the end when he's like, I'll spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, I'll only take the job if you're okay with it. And she was just like, well, absolutely, because basically they need both of us, and we do work well together on off the clock and on the clock.
And Ryan and Taylor did such an amazing job giving life. Like, they basically are handed words on a page, and they create full characters and people out of that. And the whole cast did an incredible job.
They really did. And Cara, that scene where they're both pitching their ideas, that was such a great scene. And those pitches were incredible. I mean, just the way that you wrote them, they seemed like real convincing business plans. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is a hard decision. How could I choose?
I did research. I learned a lot about the advertising world and how to pitch, and it was fun to learn some of that. And I like things in scripts to be real, so that those little details, I think, add the authenticity to a script and make you really feel that it's not just being glossed over, but these are the real words and jargon that they would use.
So how long does it usually take you when you are coming with from the conception of an idea to maybe that final script, if you're under no time crunch and you're just doing the writing on, like, hey, this sounds good to me, I'll write this and see what happens to it. How long is your journey usually in that process?
Oh, it depends. If I'm hired for a project that's shooting soon or next year, it can be fast. This script was an 8-year journey. So I was so thrilled because I wrote it with Jeff Shank at Hybrid way back, and he never gave up on it, which I so appreciated. And then Hallmark picked it up at the end of last year. When I got that phone call from Jeff, I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. It was so exciting that this one was, because this was always one of my favorites. So I was thrilled that it was going to get made.
Oh, never give up on those hopes and dreams, for sure. So then you wrote it, not necessarily, because I know that you're an executive producer on some too. So at any time, so you wrote this without knowing a cast. Do you write not knowing who the cast is going to be, or do you ever get to know who the cast is going to be in your writing process?
If it's a rewrite assignment, or somebody like you're working with a talent who says, hey, we need a project for this person, or have a script and then we're doing a polish to tailor it for them, then you know who the cast is. But normally, if you're writing a spec script, you have no idea who it could be, which is so much fun then to see who it gets cast and how they make the characters their own.
Yes, this cast was great. Everyone just seemed very, very believable. And like you said, Cara, it seemed like they really made these characters their own, and they all seemed like real, genuine people. And, these actors, they are in real life, but that's a skill to be able to bring that to the screen and make their characters seem so real. So that was wonderful to watch.
And it was so fun because this was such a strong supporting cast too. Like Tim and Chandra really made me believe that this was a couple who lived their lives on the farm. They were childhood sweethearts. Like, watching it, I believed them.
Yeah.
So everybody was great. And Jack is the best friend, and everybody, the bosses. Yeah, with Patrick as Everett, and then Elisa as Alexandra. So everyone was great.
Yeah, you got a really fun, like, there was cast that we haven't seen in a while. Like, Patrick, he had some starring roles back in the early 2000s and some Hallmark. Like, I remember, I think it was My Boyfriend's, something Christmas, of course. A Boyfriend for Christmas. Yeah, with Kelly Martin. Like, that was the one that a lot of people talked about for a long time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun that we got people that we hadn't seen in a while.
Well, that's because this one, I think, filmed in Alabama, and a lot of these often film in Canada. And when you film in Canada, you get one American lead and your supporting cast is always Canadian. and usually local actors who are all amazing as well. But it was so much fun this way to, like you said, see more cast of people we haven't seen in a while all together.
So knowing they could hold their own, meaning Taylor and Ryan, they had just such great banter and heartfelt moments. Did that change your direction in writing for them? And I know we kind of just talked about the cast and writing, but yeah, how was it writing for Taylor and Ryan's character and the banter and their story?
I guess the second part to that would be is for rewrites, like once they were on, because I'm assuming, did you followed this one all the way through then for anything that was rewritten on site?
Well, no. So actually they were given the script and they ran with it. So I didn't know who was, I was finding out who was cast along with everyone else because I was not an executive producer on this one, just a writer. And so it was so much fun. Like I didn't see it until last night. Unfortunately, I couldn't be in LA for the premiere, but it was just so much fun to see it all come together as a viewer too, since I hadn't been part of the whole journey. So I didn't write specifically for them, but I loved how they made the characters their own, and they had just had natural chemistry together as well.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest. I don't know about you, Brennan, but if I was executive producer on so many, it would be so weird to me where you're, like to have a different role in each thing where you get that surprise element. But of course that surprise element is sometimes a beautiful surprise. And you definitely got that with this cast. And so it's interesting that it's, like you said, it's, it's kind of a different role for each movie too.
Right. I did miss getting to see the dailies and knowing who was cast and watching all the auditions. So that part I was missing. But then again, it was fun to see the whole movie where it was brand new, where you haven't seen a lot of cuts.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
We loved the best friendship, the best friend relationship story between Nora and Shannon, and wish that we really would have been able to see some more. I know that, of course, there were, like you said, the supporting cast was amazing in this. So, and the story between the Darlingtons took a good portion, but it was needed, and it, like you said, it helped carry the journey for the main storyline too. But how important is it to you to make sure that your supporting characters are represented just almost as well, if in their story being told as it is for the main leads?
I think it's important to have the supporting characters because if you notice in these movies, I'm sure you know, each lead has to have the person to talk to. So you get some of the exposition through that way, and you can track the lead's emotional journeys through their person. And so it's really important to have the best friend who supports them. And what I liked with Shannon is that she was happily married, starting a family. So she was everything kind of opposite of Nora, who's been the career woman. And so I really love that friendship. And a lot of my friends are stay-at-home moms, which I completely respect and admire because that is one of the hardest jobs to do. And so they see me pursuing the career and I watch them raising their families. So there's a little bit of true life in that part.
It's so lovely to see friendships like this where two women their lives can be so different, but they still connect. They still have that strong friendship. And I just think that's so encouraging because that just goes to show, look, you could lead complete different lives, but you can still find something in common and still find a wonderful, true friendship. So that was so great.
And your best friends should support you, whatever you want to pursue, whatever your dream is, whether that's your family or career. Like your friend, you shouldn't be competing with your friends. They should be supporting you, even if they think you're crazy. When I said I'm going to move to Hollywood and be a screenwriter, they were probably thinking, yeah, sure. But everyone was extremely supportive. Like, yeah, you'll make it. You'll make it. And that means everything.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You got to have your cheerleaders behind you.
Yes. And raising kids is hard. Mothers need support too.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said mothers are never off the clock. So they deserve our support too.
1000%. Yeah.
So, Cara, what is one thing that you hope viewers walk away for the better with after watching Double Scoop?
Oh, that's a good question. I hope that people would see you can think outside the box, and there are always more solutions than you might be aware of for any problem, any situation in life. That you can always find a way to make something work, and that I think teamwork is always better than competition.
That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Right?
We actually just had that conversation not too long ago. That is definitely in our wheelhouse, where you need each other, and leaning on each other is such a beautiful gift that you can give to each other. So
I like win-win situations.
yeah.
Yes.
So now you also have Grounded in Love, and I see that you were a co-writer in that. So were you in the beginning of that entire process? And that movie, for everybody viewing, is coming to Great American Family, and it stars Danica McKellar and Trevor Donovan. So yeah, were you part of the entire process, or did you just come in and help a little bit? Because you really don't do a lot of co-writing. It looks like most of the scripts, according to IMDb, the Bible of everything for movies, they're usually just you being the writer.
So this one I was on from the beginning. It's currently airing on PureFlix, and yes, like you said, premieres on Great American Family, the linear channel, September 27th, like you said. And that one, yes, I'm also an executive producer on. It's based on a book by Angela Carell, Grounded in Love, the first book in her trilogy. And the books are so much fun. I've read all three. I hope we get to make sequels. But that was through MPCA. Motion Picture Corporation of America was the production company. And then we produced that for Great American Family Channel. And Andrea Canning was the first writer on it. And then I think she went on to other projects. And then they brought me on to do more work on the script, still based on the book. But then I did get to work with Danica a lot on that. So she had input with her character because we already knew she was cast. Danica's brilliant, I will say. I love working with her. She's so detail oriented, and she cares about the material and the characters. And she's great. I'll get a phone call. Well, what about this line? What do you think about this? And she's so smart. That's like, yeah, I love that. And so she's a great one to work with. And then Trevor's great too. And they had great chemistry. So that one I did see the dailies. I did get to see the supporting cast who was coming in, and then the different cuts and the notes that come in. So I'm excited for that one too, for everyone to see that.
We're excited too. It looks fantastic. I think it'll be a new favorite.
It's so heartwarming. And it's funny enough, it's another farm. So there's a theme this year.
Yes.
That might be one of our questions.
Yes. Perfect.
But I was going to say that, yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example of the collaboration obviously as the writer, of course, their characters, but those that are stepping into it are seeing their own vision. And that collaboration is, they're not just, when they're just not just saying the words that they're seeing on it, but they're envisioning in their head, and having those conversations with you makes something that even you, as you were writing it, couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. The actors bring such heart to this, and they do care. And the author, Angela Carell, is also she's lived this life. So I worked with her on the script as well. And she was amazing because before Danica had her pass working on the script with Angela, I would say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I know this isn't quite right. How would you say it? So she was extremely helpful too. And it was her book, her characters. So I wanted to be true to her vision as well.
What is the process in bringing something that is a book to screenplay? I mean, how do you break that, and how do you know and decide what to keep and what to maybe move around? I mean, does it just vary per story?
So with this book, if you read the book, you'll see what we couldn't put in, which I think would make an amazing movie. But it wouldn't be wholesome with some of the fun things and other real life dramatic things she had in there. So knowing the buyer, knowing that it was for Great American Family, that was very specific with, we want the heartwarming story. You want the romance. We want the grounded people. And you want that touch, the light touch of faith, which I think is really important too in so many movies now. and people are clamoring for that. So we chose those elements that focused on the A story romance, but the relationship with her grandmother was also as important as the romance. So by focusing on those two main relationships, everything kind of falls into that. And when these movies get edited, they end up being shorter than you realize. A lot of a lot of scenes don't make the final cut. Scenes are shortened. So it really just becomes, you just get the heart of it. I think that they did a great job and it looks amazing.
So, Cara, how do you balance cozy comfort with twists in your writing?
It's always a challenge because there are so many movies in this space, to come up with something that's just a little bit different or finding a new way into the story. And I love the cute meets and just finding something unique that we haven't seen before. I mean, obviously bumping into someone is the main one we see because it works. So trying to find something a little different, I think, always sets the movie off with a different way. And then it's coming up with the twist of, we know they're going to end up together. So it's making the journey fun. What makes you want to keep knowing they're going to end up together? What's going to keep the audience engaged and rooting for the characters? If you can get them rooting for the characters, they'll follow the journey. And so it really is just finding different things we can do within the parameters of keeping it a heartwarming, romantic story.
Yes. And that's something else that we liked specifically in Double Scoop with Taylor and Ryan's characters is they were brought together because of their competition in a way. And because they were competing, that brought them working together for the Darlingtons and becoming closer. So I liked that. I thought that was great. These two competitors, almost kind of like enemies to lovers. We always enjoy that.
I love those too, because it gives you more room to play with the arcs.
Yeah.
So I always love that. And it was also, we had a conversation too about the tone of, they couldn't have been full nemesis. You can't have them hating each other. They couldn't have been real jerks to each other, but they had to, when we saw the environment that Everett created over there, you can understand how they would be competing more than friends and never having a chance to really work together. And then they brought up some different things where they thought the other might have sabotaged them and cleared up those misunderstandings. And then it was just fun to have them come together. But we had to be careful with the tone, because you can't have any lead not be likable. They still have to be likable.
So true. And and that push and pull, like you said, just gives you so much wiggle room, especially when you get people who are, like and I'll have to go back and look at it because I was too busy eating ice cream while I was watching the movie.
Me too.
But specifically, like Taylor had mentioned to us that she was hoping that they kept a clip that Ryan did a specific wink after there was a little push and pull with them. And I get, and because of eating my ice cream, I didn't look as closely as I should have. So, but I think, like it gives you a little bit more of a physical comedy, especially like what you said, when you're not, like so concerned about not necessarily liking the person, because there are characters you love to hate, but you don't want them, but that line is so minuscule, and it's really hard, especially in this kind of realm with like Great American Family and Hallmark and stuff like that. And I know that you've had rom-coms on Netflix too. So
yes, a bunch of them have aired on Netflix, and couple Christmas movies there too. Jumping back to what you were just saying though, that's where actors like Taylor and Ryan come in, and they can take characters that might be questionable on the page and their natural charm that exudes, like you can forgive them and you like them, even if there are a couple little bumpy moments that are created in the script, but you still like them and you still want them to get together. So that's where the actors, I thought, did such an amazing job.
Absolutely.
So do you see parts of yourself when you're writing, or who are you taking? So you said for these last few ones, one was based off of a book, and then one was a little bit of, like family or a television show that inspired you. So obviously it varies per story, but in the whole heart of where you're kind of feeling like you're getting your like juices for something, do you feel it's something always within you that is like, I'd like to learn more about this, or this is something I wish would have happened in my life, or something along those lines?
It's funny. Usually, just something will spark. I did a rom-com. It had two titles that it's premiered under. The Oh my gosh, The Big Grab, and then it also aired under Can't Buy My Love. And that was when I worked at Fox. Before working at NPCA, I was at Fox Studios in LA for a long time. And two coworkers got in a fight over a parking spot. And I was just like, that's amazing. And so that script started with the cute meet was they were fighting over a parking spot, which evolved to when we changed the character into an EMS, and then a car's parked where it's not supposed to be. But that's where that came from, was just watching two coworkers screaming at each other over it's nobody's parking spot. But I parked there every day for years, and I was like, that's the best. Something like that sparks it. A crush could spark it. Hearing somebody say something, even a title idea sometimes can open up an idea. So it really comes from a lot of places.
So did those people who inspired that know that they inspired it?
Oh, no.
We'll keep it a secret.
They would probably deny that fight ever happened. But literally, they're on different sides of the hall, not just standing next to each other, but like literally screaming down this long hallway. It was kind of great.
Oh my goodness. And you're just standing there. I'm making a script in my head and you have no idea.
Right. And I don't think it didn't hit me at that exact moment, but later I was like, oh, that's such a good cute meet for someone. Again, that was the enemies to lovers type of story too.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the parking spot fight, and obviously not in the exact same way, but Big Bang Theory, when Sheldon had his spot, even though he didn't drive. And so he went to use the spot. He brought out his whiteboard and his office chair, and he then claimed it as his spot, even though he was never going to be driving and having a car in it.
Oh, funny. I haven't seen that.
Just level it up one more for the next meet cute.
Well, Cara, we have seen in Double Scoop, this story took place in small town Wisconsin, and in this upcoming movie, Grounded in Love. I apologize. Is it grounded in? It's Grounded in Love. Is that correct?
Yes. So the book was originally titled Grounded, and then the movie became Grounded in Love, and then the book was re-released Grounded in Love.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we noticed that this story takes place in small town Kentucky. So in your writing, do you prefer to write small towns or big cities?
I love both. I was born in New York City, a lot of family members in New York, and grew up in Hudson, Ohio, which is itself a Hallmark Great American Family type of town with a clock tower. So I love both worlds, and I'm familiar with both. So it's fun. And it's also trying to avoid that big city girl goes home, just to make the story a little different, because we have seen it so many times. But Angela Carell, the author of the book, lives in Kentucky. So that was based on her hometown. So
was there a specific rom-com or romance movie or book that you watched or read growing up that really inspired you to, number one, get into the genre, and then to be like, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life?
I think the rom-coms have always been my favorite. Some of my favorites I will watch over and over again. Can't Buy Me Love was one of my favorites. Notting Hill. I mean, the Sandra Bullock, Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, all those movies. I love them all. And I still watch them. If it's on, I'll watch them over and over. And so it's so much fun to work in this space too.
Yes.
So Can't Buy Me Love, definitely Patrick Dempsey with that one. It was like the worlds collided of Grey's Anatomy when you realize that's who, because I didn't watch it in the 80s, but I mean, I would have, I went back and watched quite a few of those that I was like, everybody was like Say Anything, just because of the iconic holding the boombox over your head.
Yes. All the John Hughes movies.
Yeah.
Oh, those are all my favorites. So good.
Yep.
And I will say, the night before Christmas, one of my aunts who was our dear Hallmark watcher in the family all these years, the year that came out, all she would do was rave about how she watched that one over and over and over again on Netflix because she just loved the English Knight.
Thank you for telling me that. Oh, I love that. Thank you.
It was a cute one. I really enjoyed it too, but it just like, to me, it was for anything with her. And she's like, "Did you watch that one yet?" And then she'd be like, "I watched it again." And so, yeah, that was a favorite at Christmas.
We all want the chivalry. We all want the old-fashioned chivalry. Even with, everything in today's modern world, we still want the chivalry. I think everyone does.
I am A-okay with somebody holding open the door. I appreciate it.
And walking on the outside on the sidewalk. I still love that.
Yes. It never goes out of style.
It really doesn't.
No.
So do you hope to dive into any other genre in the future though? Or has there been anything that you've been like, especially now that you've been in the industry for a little bit, of be like, oh, that would be kind of fun to dab my toes in over here?
I do love the rom-com and Christmas space. And I actually have a shark thriller because I figured I need something a little bit outside the space. So I have an available shark thriller where the shark is not the bad guy. And I also have, I'm working with Scott Marshall, who's the son of the late, great Gary Marshall. He's attached to direct a father-daughter country music project that we're trying to put together now. So I'm really hoping that that'll happen because that is an entirely different genre that, like, we're sending the script out. I can't say who's looking at it, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that comes together sooner than later.
Well, Gary Marshall's rom-coms with like Julia Roberts, and I mean, like, I cannot watch Runaway Bride enough times and things. So that's exciting I didn't realize that his son was taking after his footsteps or had taken after his footsteps.
So. That's great. And Overboard, another Gary Marshall movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Scott was in it. I don't know if you remember that movie at the end where the guy in the yacht it's a hell of a day at sea, sir. That was Scott. So I'm like, Scott, I just watched Overboard again. Like, I saw you.
The first one or the second one?
The original.
The original. Okay.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Okay.
Yes. Classic.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'll be honest, I only watched the original one because then what do you want to call it? It's not a redo.
Kind of like the remake.
Thank you. When the remake came out, I was like, well, I have to watch the original. I mean, I knew of it, I just never had watched it. So I have a whole list that
Anna Faris, Anna Faris is hilarious. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you, but Anna Faris is hilarious.
I guess for me, I was more curious of like what they kept from the original when they do the remakes. Like, is it like, do they change their professions, or like how much of the story do they take liberties with when they're doing the remakes? So that's what got me into rewatching the first one. Because like I said, I knew it. I've seen the overboard part. But yeah.
And in today's society, could we even get away with making that where a man keeps a woman with amnesia as his slave? Could you do that today?
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I do miss the freedom of the 80s. You watch some of these movies and they're so funny and they're still so great that you just couldn't get away with them now, which I think is a bit unfortunate because we're losing some creativity that way.
I guess in that aspect, it does take out the timeless aspect of it then to think about that.
But knowing they were married in real life, it's all good, right?
Yeah. You know what? It's still okay. It's timeless about falling in love.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was also Taming of the Shrew as well. So that was fun.
Did you, Brennan, did you know that Gary and Penny were brother and sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Brennan, did you know that?
Oh,
Penny
really?
Marshall? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. Wow. But that makes total sense. That's so cool. See, I learned so much. This is awesome.
There you go. Our trivia for the day for you, Brennan.
Perfect. I love it.
Well, I do have a few trivia questions to wrap up with, and we actually probably answered a few of them during it. But I'm going to quiz both you and Brennan, Cara, on what subject did Brooke teach in The Night Before Christmas? And I do have ABC choices. Yes, Cara. Do you know, or you want your ABC?
I know. So Brennan, I'll let you answer.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Here are your choices, Brennan.
Yeah, thanks, Catherine.
English, history, or science.
Well, I'll tell you, Netflix likes empowered women, and to see women in fields that might be stronger, like male dominated. So we like to see women in some of those fields a little bit more.
Oh, that's so great. So I will say science.
Ding, ding,
ding. Yay.
And actually, that's a really good fun fact, because my follow-up question, because when you think about it, because he's a knight from a history teacher would have been like a really fun direction, just for the fact of knowing the history of, like the knighthood and all that type of stuff. So that's a really fun fact of why it was science, or I'm assuming that's why it was science.
That's why we decided to go with her, the science teacher. But I will say there were some dialogue things that were added in that are not historically accurate that I was like, what? But it was out of my control. But it actually made it funnier. And Vulture, the article by Vulture, I think they picked them all up, which was hilarious too.
Oh, fun. Okay, so and I'm sure, Cara's going to know all of these. So we're quizzing Brennan. What type of shop did Carrie's family own in Fall into Winter? And choices are toy, candy, or flower.
Oh, yes.
Or unless my research was wrong, because I was watching Cara, you were shaking your head.
Oh, and this is a good movie. I apologize. I think I've only seen it once. So
growing up, there was my grandma lived in Delaware, Ohio, and there was a chocolate store called The Nectar, which was our family's absolute favorite, and sadly it closed, which was a bit of an inspiration for Fall into Winter.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. So is it candy?
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Little hint.
So creative.
Absolutely loving the tidbits, and I am so going to get a bell one of these days. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
I want this a win-win.
Okay, so now... Okay, so I actually wrote down Can't Buy Me Love. That wasn't the title. What did you say the title was?
Can't Buy My Love?
Can't Buy My Love. Yep. See, I was just totally on my Patrick Dempsey age. Okay, so Brennan, what year did Can't Buy My Love air? And now, did it air originally under the first title and not Can't Buy Me Love? Buy My Love?
I think Can't Buy My Love and then The Big Grab.
Oh, okay. Because did not see that title. Usually it'll say if there's another title on there. So, but your choices, Brennan, are 2016, 17, or 18. Wild guess.
I'm going to go with 18.
No.
That's okay.
Lower.
Cara, which one?
It was 2016, right?
Ooh. That's
17.
a good year.
It was 17? Was it?
2000. Yep. Well, like I said, I trust everything that I trust, in quotations, everything that IMDb says. We'll go with 16 or 17 as a winner.
No, you're probably right. For some reason, I had it as 16. Okay.
And who were the stars in that one, Cara?
Oh my gosh, of course I'm blanking right now. I can picture them, and I know we had Richard from Sex and the City play Rex, the dad, in that.
Okay.
I think that was Richard Raymar. But he wasn't the lead, he was the dad. And then I can picture them, and I'm blanking on their names, which is...
I'm gonna totally say her name wrong. Is it Adeline?
Adelaide.
Adelaide?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to edit this. Please edit this one out because
I will edit.
really, really bad, not knowing. But I can picture them.
That was one that I totally tossed at you. So Adeline Kane
Yes.
and then Benjamin Hollingsworth.
Yes, Ben. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Please edit that one out because
we will skip this question.
Yeah, no problem.
No worries. Okay, so we're gonna end with the final one of who was Bethany Joy Lenz's co-star in A Valentine's Match? And your options are Luke McFarlane, Tyler Hines, or Trevor Donovan.
I know this one.
Oh, you do? I thought you were.
I'm sorry. Luke McFarlane.
Yay!
Oh, that movie's so good.
And I actually didn't know that one until I researched it. So there you go. I learned something new today too.
Yay! That's a good one.
Yeah, they're both great.
Funny. Well, thank you so much, Cara, for joining us and talking rom-coms. And we look forward to having you back, and that there's some more that will be down the horizon that we'll have to chat about soon, hopefully.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh,
you're welcome.